Jason.
And this is Perfectly Screwed Podcast, episode 67. I have melodious, melodious, that's the word. That is the right word, right? Melodious?
I think so.
Melodious tones. Yeah, I think it's melodious. Anyways, I have melodious tones in my voice. Speaking of, this is the second part, by the way, of the Memphis 3 that we're going to do today. And so if you haven't listened to episode 66, please go back and listen to that so you know what the hell we're talking about in episode 66.
Right, it'll help.
But speaking of true crime, did you hear recently in the news about the bitch? And this is from your hometown. You'll know the story, and I'll let you explain it to people that don't know real quick, give them a little summary of it. But you remember that chick who killed her stepdaughter in Gas City?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, she's appealing her conviction, saying there wasn't enough evidence to convict her. She's trying to get out of prison.
Really?
Claiming that there wasn't enough evidence to convict her. Now, they found the girl in her shed, didn't they?
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Right, yeah, choked to death.
I remember, they found her body.
Yeah, in the shed, choked to death. That's what I thought. So how isn't there enough evidence to convict your stupid ass? That's what I want to know. Yeah, what the fuck claims are you making to get out of prison?
Exactly. There's a dead body on your property.
I mean, yeah, that should be, we don't know where the girl is for 3 days. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, she's in the shed, dead, strangled.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Oh, there's no evidence against me.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, she's appealing it now and trying to say that the prosecutor didn't have enough evidence to convict her. I was like, bitch.
Well, good luck to you.
There's a lot of evidence to convict you.
Right.
You're rotting. Indiana is not letting you out. First of all, Indiana is not really an appeal kind of state.
Right.
For anybody that doesn't know, once you're convicted in Indiana, you're kind of convicted.
You're in, yeah.
You're going down for the full bat. It's not kind of. Also, did you see where Trump has been going off lately on just crazy rants? I hope the fuck they do something, because if this dude runs in 2024, there's problems.
Honestly, I don't pay attention to any of that.
He's going off on these rants. He was, okay, did I ever tell you about the Philadelphia thing? Okay, he's in Philadelphia, right? So. Okay, he's in Philadelphia, because it's the midterm elections, as you know. You know what I'm talking about, where it's Senate and all that. Okay, so the two people that are running for the race in Philadelphia, for Pennsylvania, are in Philadelphia. So it's about these two that are trying to get elected, okay? Not about Trump. So Trump thinks it's a good idea to stand up for 2 hours and talk about himself and give these guys 20 minutes to talk about the election.
Hell yes.
Right. And then he went on a whole rant of how the FBI is a bunch of fucking faggots because they invaded his home, broke in, took his classified documents.
Right.
First of all, bitch, why the fuck do you have classified documents in your house? Okay, you're not the president anymore. You have no right to them. You shouldn't have them. I mean, seriously. Let's just put it there. And they asked you for them repeatedly, and you refused to give them up. Okay, clearly, they had every right to go in your house and raid your house and get the documents. I mean, I'm sorry if you're a Trump supporter and a MAGA or Magna or whatever the hell it is, but they had every right. Then his son goes on. Oh yeah, another thing he said in Philadelphia, mind you, is, well, you see, the problem with Philadelphia is that it has the highest crime rate in the whole entire country because of the minorities. I was like,
what did he say?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I was like, what? What?
That's gonna get you.
What?
Yeah, I don't pay attention to it. It doesn't interest me.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's like a comedy routine.
I just couldn't care less, to be honest with you.
Watching him is like a comedy show. It's a complete comedy show. It is funnier now. Then his son gets on national news and says that those documents couldn't have been my father's documents. He said because in the FBI photos, they were spread out all over the floor and photographed. He said, my father is a very neat person, and he would not just leave his files just lying on the floor. Let me ask you something. If the FBI was taking photos, would they take photos of the files in the cabinet, or would they take them out of the cabinet, spread them on the floor where you could see them, and take? I mean, come on, dickhead. Obviously, they didn't find them on the floor, you stupid bastard. They found them in a filing cabinet, and they put them on the floor.
Right.
What is wrong with you? Yeah, okay. Yeah, like the FBI never said they walked in and the files were right there in the middle of the office floor, you jackass.
Yeah, they're not just, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, they did some searching. That's what police do. Well, not in West Memphis, but everywhere else they do. In West Memphis, they just convict you on rusty knives in the backyard. You know.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. So, to catch everybody up, Damian Eccles, Baldwin, and McCluskey? Hold on. I'm fucking up names already. Miss Kelly, were all convicted of murder for murdering these 3 boys in West Memphis, Arkansas. So there has been, obviously, widespread criticism of the handling of the crime scene by the police. Ms. Kelly's former attorney, Dan Steedham, cites multiple substantial police errors at the crime scene. It was said that the police literally trampled through the creek bed where the bodies were found and didn't collect evidence in any way, shape, or form as a police department should do. They didn't rub off the crime scene. They let the locals in the crime scene. Locals. And then they're just walking through the creek beds. Walking through the beds.
Wow.
The bodies were moved and removed from the water before the coroner arrived to examine them. Or to determine the state of rigor mortis. So the bodies were allowed to decay on the creek bed. They were exposed to sunlight and insects an hour before the coroner arrived. The police did not even telephone the coroner until 2 hours. 2 hours before the coroner arrived. They didn't even call the coroner until 2 hours after they discovered the bodies.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't drain the creek bed in a timely manner and secure evidence in the water. Then, right after the bodies were pulled from the water, they sandbagged the creek bed.
Why?
I don't know. Oh my goodness. No blood was found at the crime scene, indicating that the location where the bodies were found was not the location where the murders actually happened. So, these bodies are severely mutilated, with knife punctures, all of this, right? There's no blood anywhere at the crime scene. So, that tells you right there that they couldn't have been killed there.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so after the initial investigation, police failed to control disclosures of information.
But even if there was blood at the crime scene, these motherfuckers had trampled all through it.
Yeah. And then they sandbagged the river.
Yeah. What, for flooding? I don't understand. Well, so put some sandbags in the river, and then if any more dead bodies float across, they'll just lay here on the sandbags.
So when you sandbag the river, automatically you're creating a dam. So any evidence that was in the river is now flowing into the fields beyond the river.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. So you've just created...
They're probably trying to weed knives out.
Oh, God. Yeah, you got to get them rusty knives out of the river. I mean, you never know.
Jesus. Like, I can't believe that there isn't, like, other police departments or something that are like...
What the
Hey,
hell?
wait a second.
What the hell are you doing?
Somebody needs to go over there and get this shit under control because these guys obviously haven't went to the same training.
Yeah, clearly. What training do you have to be a West Memphis Police Department officer? You just walk in off the street, say, I worked at Burger King. Oh, you're hired.
Yeah.
We need you.
Right, like basically all you have to do is pull up to the Bojangles drive-thru and be like, oh, he left? We're good.
Yeah, and by the way, while I'm here, can I get a 3-piece biscuit?
Right.
Make sure you put that honey butter on the side.
I mean, like, yeah, they're blatantly just absolutely not doing anything they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it's just, this whole investigation.
It's just like a joke.
It's a joke, yeah. And that's lay people, me and you talking about it. I couldn't believe being an actual police officer, an investigator, and looking at this and going, well, this is standard police work for us. I mean, this is a normal day in West Memphis.
It's just what we do.
Right here. So, listen to this. Not only that, but police records were a mess. They said to call them disorderly was putting it severely mildly. They said the small local police force was overwhelmed by the crime because this was unlike any investigation they had ever investigated. And they refused any offer of aid or consultation from the experts at the Arkansas State Police. Not only that, but West Memphis at the time was under investigation by the Arkansas State Police for suspected theft from the Crichton County Drug Task Force of drugs and dealing.
Really?
So the whole police department's under investigation for dealing drugs that they stole from the county lockup at this time also. They also stored all physical evidence. I can't even say it. I can't even say it. Okay. Woo. Hold on. Wait for this one. They stored. Oh my God. This is so funny. It's horrible. They stored the physical evidence taken from the crime scene in paper sacks they obtained from the supermarket, with the supermarket's name printed on the bags.
Jesus Christ. Wow. What an operation we got going.
And then they wrote in Sharpie marker what the evidence was on the paper bags.
Wow.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ. Rubber gloves? Hell no.
No.
Special evidence bags? Fuck no. Go to the shop and say.
We're going to lose the samples anyway.
Go down to the 7-Eleven, all right? Get me some paper sacks. That's what we need. Make sure that they're paper. You just bring them on down. We'll go ahead and get this done. Oh. At the scene of the crime, they asked the juvenile probation officer who they thought could have committed the murders, and he said, well, Eccles was capable of committing the murders. And the officer says, well, it looks like Damian Eccles finally killed someone. So from the get, they got him. Now, also, there was human bite marks that they found on at least one of the victims. They were first noticed. Of course, they weren't noticed by the police department then. They were they were noticed years later in photographs, years after the trial, and they were not inspected by any board-certified medical examiner until 4 years after the murders. They were made by a kid. And then the state experts said there was no bite marks at all, which I don't know how. And they said that the marks did not match the teeth of any of the three that had been convicted. So, oh God. Years later, they find these bite marks. That let's get past the point that they moved bodies from the location of a crime scene. Let's get past the fact that they moved the clothes out of the river before the coroner ever gets there. That they don't call the coroner until 2 hours after the bodies are moved and they're sitting out in the sunlight on a riverbank. Let's get past all that. Okay. Let's get past the fact that you're storing physical evidence in paper bags that was found in a river.
Right.
You're putting wet clothes in paper bags that were found in a river.
So,
and writing on them with a Sharpie marker.
My thing is, like, yeah, I think everybody understands
Jesus
these
Christ.
kids didn't do it.
Jesus Christ.
Police station is absolutely incompetent. They'll do anything they can to frame these kids for murder. But are they off now? Like, where are we going with this?
Okay. So, in 94, obviously, the three appealed their conviction. The convictions were upheld on direct appeal. In 96, Miss Kelly's lawyer, Dan Stidman, was preparing to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. In 2007, Eccles petitioned for retrial based on statutes permitting post-conviction testing of DNA evidence due to technological advances made since 94, which might prove to exonerate for wrongful conviction. The petition failed when the original trial judge, Judge David Burnett, disallowed presentation of the information in court. This ruling was in turn thrown out by the Arkansas Supreme Court for all three defendants. Now, what happened was...
so they got arrested in 93?
And convicted in 94. Now, what happened was, about this time, there was some very influential people that were noticing this case. There was documentary filmmakers Joe Berlinger and Bruce Sinofsky, which are extremely documented filmmakers. And they went to HBO and they said, hey, look at this case. And HBO, as well as some other very famous Hollywood people, started throwing money behind it and pressuring HBO to do this. And they did Paradise Lost, The Child Murders of Robin Hills. And then later on, they did Paradise Lost 2 and Paradise Lost 3.
All three documentaries about this case.
Yeah, 3 different films. There was also a book called Devil's Knot by Mara Levert, Blood of Innocence by Guy Rill, and The Last Pinnacle of the Sun, writings in support of the West Memphis 3. So there was a lot of people that put a lot of support behind this at the time. And because of that, they started the testing the DNA.
What year was that?
2002, 2003, and then 2007. But we're going to go further back first, so we'll go to 93, back to 1993, to show you some of the things that was still fucked up. So, John Mark Byers, the adopted father of Christopher Byers, gave a knife to cameraman Doug Cooper, who was working with documentary makers Joe Berlinger and Bruce Sinofsky while filming the first Paradise Paradise Lost feature. The knife was a folding hunting knife manufactured by Kershaw. According to statements given by Berlinger and Sinofsky, Cooper informed them of his receipt of the knife on December 19, 1993, after the documentary crew returned to New York. Berlinger and Sinofsky were reported to have discovered what appeared to be blood on the knife. HBO executives ordered them to return the knife to the West Memphis Police Department. The knife was not received at the West Memphis Police Department until 1994, January 8th. Byers claimed the knife had never been used. However, after blood was found on the knife, Byers stated that he used it once to cut deer meat. When he told the blood matched both his and Chris's blood type, Byers said he had no idea how that blood might have gotten on the knife. During interrogation, West Memphis police suggested to Byers, now, they suggested, okay, to Byers that he might have left the knife out accidentally. And the Byers agreed with that.
Ooh.
So, during the investigation, they find blood on a knife. Now, it's not a rusted knife that they found in a river behind the house. No. It's a knife that one of the kids' dads had, right? And then this knife has blood on it, which matches one of the victims and the dad. And then the police, of course, suggest, very mildly, I'm sure, that maybe the knife had just been let out and that's how you accidentally got blood on it. What police department is suggesting this to, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's even more ridiculous. Further testing of the knife produced inconclusive results about the source of the blood. Uncertainty remained due to the small amount of blood and because both John Mark Byers and Chris Byers had the same DNA type. Byers agreed to and passed the polygraph test. But it was also indicated that he was under the influence of several psychoactive medications during the polygraph test. So in 1996 and 97, following their convictions, they submitted imprints of their teeth, all of them, Eccles, Miskelly, and Baldwin. These were compared to the bite marks on Stevie Branch's forearm that were not mentioned in the trial or the original autopsy. There was no matches found to the teeth marks. So, John Mark Byers had his teeth removed in 97 after the first trial, but before an imprint could be made. He stated reasons for the removal are apparently contradictory. So there was no reason to remove his teeth, but right after the trial, he got all his teeth pulled and some false teeth put in. He said that medication he was taking caused periodontal disease. And then he said that he did it because of other dental problems he'd had over the years. After an expert examined the autopsy photos further in 1996 and 97, he noted that he thought there might be an imprint of a belt buckle on Byers' corpse. The elder Byers revealed to police that he had spanked his stepson before the boy had disappeared. So in 2003, that Vicky Hutchinson's lady, you remember us talking about her. So in October of 2003, Vicky Hutchins, who was their main witness and who played the main part in getting them arrested to begin with, gave an interview in the Arkansas Times, and she stated